So boom, the sun is rising like it's got a LinkedIn meeting with God himself. And somewhere in paradise, a rich lady is spiritually detoxing her trauma by microdosing lavender. We're in Hawaii. Waves are waving, money is marinating, and a luxury resort is out here pretending it's not built on colonial bones. Cut to the other side of the globe. Manhattan, land of iced coffee, generational trauma, and buildings shaped like regret. A glass boardroom so high up it probably gets nosebleeds. Where some billionaire's kid is staring into the abyss of his father's expectations while deciding if he wants to do cocaine or cry in the bathroom, or both. Spoiler, it's both. Now, the White Lotus and Succession, on paper, two different beasts. One is a beachy satire where rich people vacation and emotionally combust over brunch. The other is an ice-cold corporate opera where everyone's wearing suits and trauma is cologne. But peel back the SPF and the pinstripes, same story. These are not vacations or business meetings. They're just therapy sessions with better lighting. Look at Armand. The man is barely holding it together behind the concierge desk, smiling through the pain like customer service Jesus. Then there's Kendall, walking proof that no amount of yachts or rap performances can fill the void. One's drowning in flower lace, the other in stock options and daddy issues. And spoiler, neither can swim. So yeah, two different fonts of the same unhinged paragraph. Luxury, a lie. Power, a performance. Happiness, optional. We're not just here to talk TV. We're here to open the vault and air out the rot. Quick disclaimer though, before we step into this 5-star existential crisis, we are covering the White Lotus Season 1 and Succession Seasons 1 to 3. That's it. Spoilers ahead, regrets behind. Let's check into the White Lotus, take the elevator at Waystar Royco, and find out what happens when rich people run out of lies and sunscreen. So here's the trap. Rich people think freedom is just something you can Uber Eats. Book a luxury vacation, boom, soul healed. Buy a company, freedom. Date someone hot and insecure with a trust fund, instant serotonin. That's the dream. Both the White Lotus and Succession dangle that dream like a shrimp cocktail. Just long enough for us to watch the rich take a bite and choke on it. Let's start in the White Lotus. Paradise on paper, therapy in disguise. A bunch of bougie, sunburned D-bags land in Hawaii thinking this is the week they reboot their life. Rachel, newlywed, glowy-eyed, sipping champagne like she's just won The Bachelor. But 4 episodes in, and homegirl sitting in a towel wondering if she's legally trapped in a yacht-shaped prison. Nicole, our self-appointed feminism-forward tech queen, says she's on vacation but spends the entire trip arguing with her iPad and micromanaging her son like she's about to schedule his rebellion via Google Calendar. These people didn't pack light. They brought suitcases full of existential dread and daddy issues and then wondered why the beach didn't fix them. The setting, a 5-star resort where the ocean's free, but healing costs $899 plus tax. Everything's open, wide, luxurious, except the guests' souls. Turns out, you can fly across the world and still be emotionally handcuffed to your LinkedIn bio. Now switch it. Succession. A world where freedom is just another spreadsheet with Logan Roy's name watermarked across every cell. These people could buy an island, rename it therapy, and still find a way to hate themselves on it. Kendall Roy starts the series thinking he's about to be CEO. Like, this man walks into season 1 already holding a TED talk in his back pocket. But Daddy Roy says psych, and suddenly Kendall's life becomes a speedrun of failure, guilt, and corporate Stockholm syndrome. He tries everything to break free. Coup, press conference, redemption arc number 47, and every single time he ends up crying in a room with glass walls. Symbolism? Yes. Pain? Also yes. Shiv says she's too cool for the family business. Also Shiv abandons her career the moment Daddy offers her a chance to sit at the table. Logan is literally dangling a bone and all the Roy kids are chasing it like Ivy League Labradors. Even Connor decides to run for president purely out of boredom and delusion. Tell me that's not the most elite level of generational wealth psychosis. So what do we got? 2 different vibes and same damn story. Freedom is a mirage, a hologram projected onto a pile of cash and self-delusion. These people aren't escaping anything. They're just booking round trips back to their own emotional prisons. As one critic put it, and I quote, "The ultra-wealthy would rather be miserable than lose even a fraction of what they've been given." In White Lotus, the island is both the vacation and the trap. In Succession, the office is a throne and a cage. Neither group can walk away because walking away means becoming nobody. And that's scarier than being miserable. By the end of White Lotus, everyone leaves more broken than when they arrive, except Quinn, who yeets himself into the sea like a barefoot Buddha and actually achieves enlightenment. And by the end of Succession Season 3, Kendall, Shiv, and Roman are back where they started, rich, miserable, and spiritually bankrupt. In these worlds, money buys everything except peace, growth, and a decent family hug. So here's the thing rich people hate more than taxes and bad Wi-Fi. Feelings. Not spa feelings. Not I just did hot yoga and ate a $22 blueberry feelings. Real ones. Messy ones. The kind that leak out your eyeballs at inappropriate times. And both the Succession and the White Lotus are basically case studies in how to be rich and emotionally constipated 101. Let's hit Succession first, because that show is basically just a group therapy session where no one makes eye contact and everyone is secretly dying inside. The Roy family, they talk. Oh, they talk a lot. But do they communicate? Nah, it's just business pitches, sarcasm, and whale trauma grenades wrapped in designer suits. Kendall, the man's soul is one long funeral, but on the outside he's giving you LinkedIn exec / rapper / dad on the edge vibes. His pain leaks out in hotel bathrooms, poolside breakdowns, and coke-dusted karaoke nights. And when he finally does open up, it's like that time he drops a literal murder confession at the side of the road. It's like a damn bro. And everyone just moves on. Anyway, back to the shareholder vault. Roman, he's built like a walking tweet. Every emotion goes through a filter of dick jokes and defense mechanisms. Let that man feel one genuine thing and his nervous system hits the eject button. He literally trembles when someone tries to love him. Shiv, emotions are weakness. She'll weaponize your tears but won't acknowledge her own. Rather ruin her marriage in slow motion than admit that she might need anything emotionally. And Logan doesn't do feelings. Logan sees feelings the way a Roomba sees stairs. Danger! Turn back! You cry near Logan Roy and he'll write you out of the will and call you slurs. This family built a communication style entirely out of sarcasm and trauma bonding, and they pass it around like a cheese plate at a party no one wants to be at. But now, let's switch vibes, because at the White Lotus, the setting's warm, the drinks are fruity, and the repression just as thick. Armand, the resort manager, greets you like he's living the dream. Happy to be here. But internally, he's 2 cocktails and 1 guest complaint away from going full Joker mode. Every day he has to pretend that the guests aren't monsters, even when they're basically slapping him with Yelp reviews in real time. Take Shane, the walking TripAdvisor lawsuit, who treats Armand like his personal butler / blood rival. Armand swallows his rage, smiles like a hostage, and tries to hold it all in until, well, you all saw what happened when the pineapple hit the fan. Then there's Nicole and Mark, who are pretending their marriage isn't dying faster than Mark's masculinity. Mark starts the trip thinking he's got cancer. Ends it punching the hotel thief to feel something. Nicole is trying so hard to keep it positive, she's basically gaslighting herself. And Paula and Olivia, they're serving Gen Z Marxist aesthetic, lounging by the pool, reading theory, but they're not above the game. There's tension there. Jealousy, hypocrisy. Paula's rage builds like a volcano under all that aesthetic disaffection until she does something dumb. And we all know it's coming. But she can't say anything because no one says anything. And then there's Tanya. Ooh, Tanya, a woman made entirely out of trauma, sequence, and aromatherapy. She talks about her feelings, but never the real ones. She cries about loneliness to strangers, sure, but when it comes time to actually connect, like say, offer someone a real job or confront her privilege, she folds faster than a cheap sun hat. So here's the truth, both shows hand us like a room service bill wrapped in existential dread. These people don't talk about their pain, so their pain talks through them. Kendall breaks down, Roman flinches, Shiv self-destructs through strategy, Armand gets high and wrecks his own career, Paula snaps, Rachel melts down on a honeymoon that's starting to feel like a prison sentence. Every single one of them is choking on feelings they refuse to name. It's funny, it's tragic, it's capitalism, baby. Because for the ultra-privileged, vulnerability is not allowed. They've been told you can have the world, but don't you dare cry about it. So they don't. They perform, smile, scheme, pose, until eventually they break. So here's the secret they don't teach you in billionaire school. Power ain't just something you have, it's something you act out. You don't just be powerful, you gotta show it, rehearse it, broadcast it. You gotta dress it up, shout it across a dinner table, and if you're Kendall Roy, maybe even rap about it like you're headlining an open mic for nepotism addicts. Let's start with Succession, aka Shakespeare in tech bro clothing. Every single scene is a damn play. The Roys could be at brunch or a funeral, and somehow they're still auditioning for Who Wants to Be CEO. Boardrooms, battlefields, family dinners, weaponized buffets. Kendall, my man can't just give a PowerPoint. He's out here hyper-decanting business lingo like he's at a TEDx hosted by Daddy Issues. And when he busts out,
L to the OG, dude be the OG, and he playing.
that now iconic moment of rich cringe so dense it almost becomes art. That's not just embarrassment, that's performance power. He's trying to say, look, Dad, I'm cool, I'm loyal, I'm relevant. But what it actually says is, please clap. Logan Roy, meanwhile, lives for power theater. He doesn't just say, I am in charge. He creates actual rituals of humiliation, like bore on the floor, aka eat the floor or you're fired. That's not corporate leadership, that's Game of Thrones. Even Tom, our human golden retriever with trauma, gets in on the show. He makes Greg eat a literal endangered bird with a napkin on its head. Because dominance, baby. All of these people are so busy flexing their status, they've turned basic human interaction into man versus wild. Now let's jet to the White Lotus. Same performance, different costume. Here, the guests don't wear suits, they wear resort casual entitlement, which is just as sharp, just less breathable. Armand the manager, the man deserves an Emmy. He's smiling through customer abuse like a man who knows the second act ends with a breakdown. He literally rehearses how to grovel, like he's prepping an audition for Best Pleaser and Supporting Role. Nicole Mosbacher, queen of let me use my boardroom voice to talk to the waiter. Even when she's on vacation, she can't stop performing CEO energy like the resort is a WeWork with a view. Then you've got Shane, who turns not getting the pineapple suite into a full-blown power play. This man doesn't even want the room. He just wants everyone to know he was promised it. His whole performance screams, I'm important, fix it, or I call your boss's boss's boss. And Armand, he's not gonna take that lying down, so he retaliates with theater. Smiles tighter, passive aggression's hotter. Eventually, he stages a finale involving a very unfortunate suitcase and a very powerful digestive statement. Bravo! Standing ovation, 10 out of 10. Would never check in again. But the most insidious performance, Tanya and Belinda. Tanya, the grieving rich woman with too many floaty scarves and not enough boundaries, performs benevolent goddess energy. She tells Belinda she wants to change her life, to fund her wellness business, to uplift a black woman in the healing arts. But it's all white-based capitalism. Because when it no longer serves her emotional vibe, Tanya ghosts Belinda's hopes and bounces. And Belinda, she has to smile. Perform hope, perform gratitude. Because in this rigged little kabuki theater, the power holder gets to choose the ending. Now let's zoom out. What do all these little performances have in common? They're not about truth. They're not about connection. They're about keeping the illusion alive. In Succession, power is shown through money, proximity to Logan, and info control. Outbid your brother, leak the scandal, stand next to daddy at the next gala equals power points unlocked. In White Lotus, power looks like private sunset cruises, exclusive suites, and pretending you're more vogue than your trust fund says you are. Olivia and Paula quoting radical theory at brunch while sipping privileged smoothies. That's not justice. That's performative superiority in $300 sunglasses. None of it changes anything. Rich people posture, guests meltdown, executives haze each other over foie gras. And the staff? The outsiders, the ones actually doing the work, they are the ones left picking up the pieces. Cleaning the suite, folding the napkin, refilling the broken promise. Both shows tell us this loud and clear. The game is fake, but you still have to play it. And if you stop acting, you lose. Not the money, not the room, just your place in the story. So what have we learned? Freedom, cap. Emotions, bottle. Power, just a costume party with better lighting. We've seen CEOs cry in silence, a concierge smile through breakdowns, and billionaires throw tantrums with gold-plated forks. Everyone's faking it. Everyone's stuck. But what happens when the show can't go on? What happens when the money stops working, the mask slips, and even your last name can't save you? In part 2, we're done pretending. We dive into the great escape attempts and why most of them fail spectacularly. We're talking identity crisis, personal implosions, and the very rare, very beautiful moment when someone actually breaks free. So grab your overpriced cocktail, cancel your therapy for the week, and meet me back here. Because the second half hits different. And it might just hit you.